entering another dimension. A dimension of creative artistry, sound, and musicology. You have entered the inner court. Come journey with us as we explore the inner workings of the music industry. Your hosts for this journey are Greg Pearson and Carl B. Phillips. You are now in the studio at Inner Court Live.
Good evening, I'm Greg Pearson.
And I'm Carl B. Phillips.
And we welcome you to In the Studio at Inner Court Live. Yeah, Carl, this is another show we're doing.
Number 14.
14, yeah, and guess what?
What?
We're in a new facility.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
This is the MAG.
The MAG, yeah. So listen, if you need to do some video or something, hit up Greg. So Greg can now do the recording, he can do the video, and he can take your money.
Both ways.
And then give it to Donna.
Right, so she can go get her another Louis. Well, yes,
Another Louis Vuitton.
So
we get some Louis Vuitton luggage.
Oh no, I
so y'all can travel.
I kind of think that's gross.
I'm speaking into your future, Donna. Louis Vuitton luggage.
Blah.
Yeah, receive that word. Louis Vuitton luggage.
So you can watch us here every Monday night on the Inner Court Live YouTube channel, and also we are now on Roku TV on the Right Now Praise channel. Special shout outs to Doctors Gerald and Carol Irving for giving us the opportunity to be on the Right Now Praise TV channel. God bless you.
Most definitely. Inner Court Live is a news and information show spotlighting independent artists who have recorded projects at Inner Court or with other affiliates, including me and you, Greg. We recorded at Inner Court.
Yeah, we recorded there. And, Inner Court is a great place for you to record at. We have a great Christian atmosphere. We don't do none of that crazy music. And
your music was kind of crazy.
Was it?
Yo, deliverance there's a crazy praise for God, right?
A crazy praise.
Deliverance is your praise.
So God has really blessed us, opened doors for us to be able to expand into video production. And also, watch this show. We're here every Monday night, and we give you news and information, talk to you about media, give you tips on media and vocal, stuff like that.
And Greg also talked about studio recording tips.
Yeah, I do. And you talk about
social media.
Yeah. Okay. So please subscribe so you don't miss a show. Subscribe and like, comment, and
also hit the notification bell so you won't miss a show.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-ling-ling.
I started to sing an old song, but I'm not going to sing it.
Please don't. Guess what? Who we have on the show today?
Oh, man. He's a phenomenal musician, arranger, composer, Demetrius Nabors.
Demetrius Nabors. Right here on Inner Court Live. We're so excited. We can't wait to bring him on. Demetrius is such a great musician. He's sought after everywhere. And if you are doing a project, you need him on your project to bring out the color.
The colors.
The colors.
The colors of your music.
Right.
Colors. You'll understand that later.
Right. We'll explain that later. And then we're going to also see his new video, Into the Light.
And we'll also have industry tips and news. Again, I'm Carl B. Phillips.
And I'm Greg Pearson.
And we'll be right back on In the Studio at Inner Court Live.
Yes.
You ought to get ready. The rain is coming.
Welcome back to In the Studio Inner Court Live. Our guest today, I'm so glad to be able to call him one of my nephews, and he is like your little brother, right?
Yeah, he's my little brother.
He is a well-known, respected, and in-demand Detroit area pianist, composer, producer, and arranger. His influence includes gospel, jazz, classical, and blues. He has a bachelor's and master's degrees in jazz studies from the University of Michigan. He also has released 3 critically acclaimed projects, and he's preparing to release his new project, Perseverance, coming out real soon. Please welcome to In the Studio Inner Court Live, my nephew, Demetrius Nabors.
Yay!
Yay!
Demetrius Nabors, yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm going to jump right in.
Yes, sir.
With all of your acclaim in music, you decided a couple of years ago to go back to corporate America. With what's going on musically now for musicians, kind of talk about your reason for making that decision to go back and get a job.
Go back and get a job. Well, Greg has been with me. Oh, I've been around Greg for a long time.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's surprising to everyone else about me doing accounting. But when I met Greg, he was still doing accounting at the school,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I've always wanted to be a CPA. Now, I'm not a CPA yet, but again, I was not trying to be a musician. That was not my goal.
Wow.
That was a hobby. So, when you're in high school, you go work at McDonald's, anything, just make a little money on the side. Where I learned how to play piano a month before I turned 14. I just practiced all the time, and that was just part-time money. But I always wanted to be an accountant. That's when I went to Cass Tech for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, and I took an accounting class, and I was like, yes. So it never left. So when I graduated from high school, Northern Jayhawks.
Yeah.
So I'm a Tech. I have 2 years at Tech and Northern Jayhawks. But when I graduated from there, I went to Schoolcraft. My major was still accounting. I was still playing for different groups. And so I was taking accounting classes. So I took enough accounting classes that when I switched my major over to music and pursued those degrees, I had enough credits to once you get a master's, you can, if you have enough foundation, you can move right into the master's of another program. So I went right into the master's of accounting because I've always loved it. Never stopped loving it.
Wow.
That's really funny because that's pretty much the same thing happened to me when I was in high school. Coolie cards. I took that
Cash
first
technician.
or whatever.
Yes, Tech. Yeah, I'm half Tech, so I got you. Yes,
I went to the pickle factory, not the new one. I was in the pickle factory.
exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as I took an accounting class in high school, and that's when it bit me. It's like,
Yeah.
oh God, this is really great, and went on to DIT to get my degree in accounting.
So I mean, even while being in, being in college early and still recording, traveling, I was still doing part-time jobs. Like I have a relationship with Robert Half, accountants. They know me very well because I was always, when I had downtime, I would do part-time jobs, and people wouldn't even know.
Wow.
Because I had time. So because I always loved accounting. So
Yeah.
everybody's shocked now, but it's like,
Yeah.
this has been since the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen the what we're in today with the COVID-19, and a lot of musicians aren't touring and doing gigging, and there's a lot of churches that's not having service. Some of us are blessed to still be at churches that are having some type of service, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. What do you give? What kind of advice do you give to musicians who are dealing with financial situations or trying to deal with what's going on?
I talk to them and I tell them, try to find something you love to do as a side hustle gig, and I'm just talking in our terms. I'm not talking
yeah.
professional. But try to find something because it helps. So whatever you love to do. Some musicians are really good with their hands. So like one of the guys we know, Joe Perret, a singer. He's
Yeah.
very good with his hands. So he has his own construction company going on, and it's quite a few guys that do different things, and that's what I try to, suggest to them to do, to be able to even fund your music, and that's what I'm grateful for when it comes to my accounting jobs, is that it's able to fund my music. I'm able to continue to pay everyone and do what I want to do because it's my music. So that's very important to me.
I'm gonna go off script a little bit. I think
Yeah.
you bring up a good point as the leader of a band, where you know what it is that you want to sound like when you go out. And a lot of times, the gigs aren't paying enough to pay the band.
Right.
So you need some source of income.
Yeah. Something to supplement.
So that way, when you call the musicians, they're not saying, well, the last time I came to you for free, can you give me something?
Right.
No, the last time I paid you. And I
Exactly.
think that's important. Kind of elaborate a little bit more on
It
that.
is. Again, just having that extra income enables you to appreciate the musicians. And what I mean by that, being a leader, I know that I want to be taken care of. So when I'm able to call my guys, they know I'm going to pay them. They don't even ask for money. Even if I didn't have it, we went through a stage where I didn't have it, and they still work with me. But I make sure when I call them, I'm able to pay them and pay them nice, because I want the same thing. And I understand, I've been in those shoes of how that feels. So,
Great. We're talking with Demetrius Krayon, Nabors, one of I want to say Detroit's best musicians, but in my book,
it's too
in my book, he's one of the greatest musicians in the world, and so glad to be able to call him my friend and my little brother. But we'll be back in just a few minutes to finish talking with Demetrius. Hi, this is Greg Pearson from the Inner Court Sound Studios with another edition of So You Want to Record. Today's topic, we'll be talking about singers, what singers have to do to prepare for the studio, and what singers should do and not do in the studio. Number one, arriving to the studio. You should arrive to the studio at least 10 to 15 minutes before your scheduled studio time. If you're on time, you're late. Another benefit of arriving early is that it allows your body temperature to adjust to the temperature of the room. That's very good for your vocal cords. Number two, warm up your voice. Do some trills or other vocal exercises to get the phlegm off of your vocal cords. Having some hot or warm decaf tea does wonders for your voice. Also, keep some room temperature water with you during your session to keep your vocal cords hydrated. And lastly, know your music and how you want to approach the song. Be confident, not passive in your approach. And most importantly, don't rush the session. Take your time and get each part of the song right. Remember, hundreds and even thousands of people will hear this song. Once it's out, it's a permanent representation of you. This has been Greg Pearson with So You Want to Record. I will see you next time. Welcome back to In the Studio at Inner Court Live, and we're just so happy to have with us today Brother Demetrius Krayon, Nabors. Glad to have you here, my brother.
I'm glad to be here, and thank you. I'm honored, and you guys are amazingly talented and hilarious at the same time. I watch the shows, and you all are funny. Yes, you.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you had your, the other interview. You had your Run DMC outfits on. Think y'all about to start rapping or something. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we forgot to
We're
do
gonna
the
talk about
little
Jesus. We're gonna talk about.
Okay, I want to ask you a very sensitive question concerning being a musician that plays in the church, and also you have your jazz influence and gigs that you do. You have a lot of pastors that kind of frown on that, saying that you shouldn't be in the club, you shouldn't be playing secular music because that plays on your anointing to be a musician in their service. What do you have to say about that type of situation?
Well, from what I was taught, I thought God made all things. That's what I thought.
Music is music.
And music is music, and we can really go there. And I'm gonna try not to,
Okay.
but I'm gonna say a couple of things about that. And Greg, know I shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, reality is that when we go to the club, you can drink, flirt, and do all those type of things at the club. When you go to church, you can drink, flirt, and do the same thing.
Ooh, you went there.
You went there.
I did, yeah. I mean, being a musician at the church, you see a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, but again, back to the side. God makes all things. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about what's coming from your heart. When I play at church, I pray before I play, before I compose any type of music, jazz, R&B, hip hop, anything. I pray before I do it. I do the same thing in each space. So it used to bother me when people say you're too jazzy and you should sound more gospel. What is that?
Yeah.
To me, music is music.
Yeah.
So, that doesn't bother me no more. It bothered me when I was younger, but as I, grew and matured, and it just doesn't bother me. And so how I balance, even in my practice, I practice the gospel, I get into that. I practice jazz, I get into that. I just try to get into a space which no matter what I'm doing. So.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's really the answer, but that's how I feel.
Well, one thing about it, I feel you have to be convicted in your own heart. If it bothers you to do secular music and church music, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But don't condemn other people that
Exactly.
aren't convicted about it.
Yeah, because everything you thinking we're doing in the club can be done at church. So to me, it's really not a difference. It's all about your heart and how you conduct yourselves. When I'm at the club, so let's say he came out and supported us last week
I did, and I enjoyed
at
it.
the Dirty Dog.
Yeah.
And what did we do? He can tell you from sitting there. What we came out there, we played. When it was over, we went in the back. We came back out, said a couple of things to people because everybody was happy and seeing each other and accolades, and then we went back in the back and we getting ready for the next show.
Right.
What is so wrong about that?
Nothing at all.
So, being in that setting, because like I told you, that was my first time seeing you in the jazz setting,
Yes, sir.
because I'm used to seeing you in the church setting. What excites you the most about live performance?
It's that space. Have you seen the movie Soul?
I've saw some of it.
Okay, so any musician, singer should see Soul, because in improvisation, there's a space you get to when you learn the language, where you can, and you sing. So I'm sure there's a space you get to. Some might call it anointing, some might call it whatever they call it, but it's a creative space that you get into when you're able to improv, and you don't have to worry about keep one foot in, one foot out at church. As a musician and singer, you have to watch, because anything can happen. So you can't really, I look at that, and I may be jumping around, but I look at that as my worship moment. I could just play. God has given me the ability to play and be creative, and I could just go into that space. And between the rhythm, the notes, the language, it does everything for me.
Wow.
I can't do that at church. Because if I try to go there, they say, hey, we got to go back to this other part. So that's my release. Jazz is my release. I could just be free and speak how I want to speak.
Wow.
Because I'm not just playing notes. There's a language that I'm speaking when I'm playing.
So even as you're reading music, your reading of the music, you're still expressing yourself as you read the music.
Absolutely, yeah. Because the music is there more for a guide, because you've already rehearsed it, but when it's pretty complex, like when both of you came to the show, sometimes you just need that guy because it's a lot going on. Just like when you go to a classical concert, the music is complex and it's there as a guide just to help you so you won't mess up. But in jazz, we're still able to improv at that moment. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've had the opportunity to work with some great artists, both secular and gospel. You've worked with R&B singer Kim, trumpeter Willie Bradley, guitarist Tim Bowman, and flautist Althea Rene. And then on the gospel side, you're one of the, I think you're the music director for the Whitfield Company, and you've played for some of the other greats. And anybody that has been to Detroit, I'm pretty sure they want to meet your neighbors on their set.
Yeah.
So tell me about your collaborations with some of these great musicians.
These artists, I've played for a lot of artists. The bio does not even hit a quarter of who I've been blessed to play for in jazz, R&B. But it's been amazing just watching how we put shows together, how, even the pre-show, how they, how their pre-routine that they do before a show. And it's been an experience. You learn every show with the crowd, the audio. It's been amazing. And you also learn, wait a minute, it's not all good. We like to say all good, but you learn lessons. You learn what not to say and what to say. So you learn that, but sometimes you don't learn that until it's too late.
Yeah.
So it's like anything else. So it's been a real eye-opener.
So I'm going to ask, what shouldn't you say?
Well, one of the things you shouldn't do, and these for my young musicians and please, older musicians as well,
Right.
all of us, just go do your work. Don't ask questions. Don't ask personal questions, even if it doesn't seem personal. If you think it's personal, don't ask that question because they can easily take that and run with it. And that happened to me when I was younger. I was inquired by a certain artist, a famous artist you all know if I mention their name, and I was very fortunate to play, but I learned that, just asking, is that person married? Don't even worry about asking that or anything about their status.
So just get the check and leave.
Get the check and leave.
Do what you were hired to do.
And from that point, when I experienced that, every time I go around an artist, I'm doing what they say, and I do my job, and I go home. I don't even try to hang out with the artists. If I'm out of town, I go to rehearsal. I go when we're done. Sometimes I don't even hang out with the band. I go back to my room. That's how you keep yourself out of trouble. If you go there, go to work, get your money, experience whatever you need to experience, and come on home. That's it.
I think another point that musicians need to know is when you're playing for an artist, whether it's gospel or secular, to play their music.
Oh, all day. Just play, as we would say, play the gig.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people hate to hear us talk about gig, but just play the performance.
Yeah.
So if it's R&B, play R&B. If it's gospel, play gospel. Respect that genre that you're in.
Yeah.
And respect the artist's music and play it like the artist.
Yeah.
And you'll continue to work. And I've been fortunate enough that when a lot of artists have, when they come here from gospel to R&B, gospel, jazz, and I've done some R&B as well. I've been known to they come. I've been recommended for a lot of performances, and I'm MD in a lot of bands because we do what we're supposed to do,
So
and we learn the music.
Right.
Learn the music.
Learn the music.
We're talking with Demetrius Krayon Nabors. Come back and I'm going to ask about Krayon. No, I'm not, because he told me not to do that. But we're going to talk about the music that Demetrius has previously released and his soon-to-be-released project, Perseverance. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. G.
And I'm Dr. C.
You know what we always say, if God is in it, you can win it.
There are now more than 1,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus here in Michigan.
I believe that we're covered by the blood of the Lamb. You don't have to worry about anything. God's got us.
I feel real bad. I really do.
What do you mean I can't come in with him? I can't come in with my husband. What am I going to do?
We did test you for the COVID-19, and your test results came back positive.
Let's pray and believe upon the Lord.
Can hardly breathe.
We are back in the studio Inner Court Live talking with this dude, Krayon. So you've released 3 critically acclaimed projects, including The Journey Within Part 1, The Journey Within Part 2, along with Christmas with Krayon. Describe the journey within you went through and how you grew between each project.
That's a good question. Why do we always receive questions like that?
I warned you.
We did. So part 1 was done in 2011. I'm gonna try to get through this
Wow,
quickly.
okay.
Yeah, 2011. G. It would be 10 years, December 2nd of this year. It'd be 10 years. So that was 2011. That was part 1, and part 2 was released. So the chronological order was Journey Within Part 1, 2011, Christmas with Krayon, 2012. And then A Journey Within Part 2, 2014. So I can say between 2011 and 2014, the maturity was because I had just received my, bachelor's in music at U of M? Go Blue all day, go Blue. So that was at 2011. And then my master's, I went right into my master's and I received that 2013. So just the growth in there, that was the difference for me between those 3 years, being at Michigan.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you grew from a bachelor's to a master's.
I did.
So by the time you got to The Journey Within Part 2, you had mastered.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah. We'll take that. Yeah, let's go with him. I like that. So yeah, so from melody to arrangements to, I feel like 2014 was more thorough composed than 2011. So from a composing and arranging perspective, I like 2014 because I could see the growth from 2011.
Wow, so. Awesome.
So your new project that came out this month, Perseverance, you can really tell the growth in that project. That project is phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you love jazz, or even if you don't like jazz, this is a project that you have to get. Tell us the story behind that project.
Well, that's 6 years. 6 years since I released new music. So it's a wealth of just maturity that brings in live shows and all the production we've done over the years within that 6 years. And because it was done last year during the pandemic, I felt like I brought my live show into this project because we didn't have any shows. And so at first when I started out, I was going to try to play the political game for a so-called contemporary smooth jazz. That's what I'm labeled as for marketing. So I was going to play the game because they always say I'm too musical. I'm a little too complex for smooth jazz. So I was going to play the radio game, which is just do like 8 to 9 songs, just radio songs, and really just trying to hit the radio market to get my name back out there since it's been 6 years since I released anything. But when I started it, it was horrible. I didn't like anything. I was like, this project is going to suck. Wow. This project is going to be horrible. And I just kept praying, and as we was going through the pandemic, and we losing loved ones and all that, I was like, I'm just gonna be me. That's what works. Just being me.
Being authentic.
Being authentic. And I said, I can always. It's funny when I produce for others, I can be more, as they would say, more radio friendly. But when it comes to my music, my own project, it's not.
It's interesting because I know for the gospel side, they're saying we don't need another person that's already out there. We need somebody to be authentic.
They say that, but when it comes to money is everything in the music industry. So they say that, but then they want you to mimic someone. But as far as perseverance, I said I'm just going to be me, and that's what I did. I did like 2 to 3 radio songs, and the rest is just what I felt at that moment. And then perseverance also means, because Greg I've had some heart challenges for the past 2 years. That's why I'm not really running marathons no more, and I'm slowly trying to get back. But by me having health challenges and then plus the pandemic and everything we all went through, perseverance represents that time. It represents everything I've been through along with the pandemic. And once I decided just to be me, that project went like that. It started happening.
So I'm gonna have to ask it because it's on the paper.
Yeah.
Tell me the story behind the nickname Krayon.
Oh, if you haven't heard it before, it was between Larry Whitfield and Howard Webb, who gave me the name Krayon. They felt like they did at the same time. I give the tiebreaker to Howard Webb because Howard Webb was at my house years ago. We was doing some production, and he was like, "Man, every time I hear you play, you just have so much colors in your playing. I'm gonna call you Krayon." I was like, "Dude, that is perfect," and that's how it happened.
Wow.
That's how it happened.
So now we know the story behind Krayon.
Exactly.
Know
Just like that.
All
I have
the
it tattooed
colors.
and everything.
All the colors in your playing.
He said that. He was like, every time.
So I guess I don't need to ask the question, which color are you in the crayon box? Because you have so many colors.
It really depends on the day.
And if you got paid.
Oh, right.
That's going to be a different
That's
color.
a different color, yeah. That's that red. That's that deep red.
Yeah, if I'm in the red, then I'm going to go red.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So tell me how people can get in contact with you, your social media, how they can get your music.
Yeah. So right now you can go to my website, DemetriusNabors.com or www.dknmusic because usually people spell my name wrong. So I made sure I purchased 2 domains for you to check out. So either dknmusic.com or DemetriusNabors.com. And on Facebook, Demetrius Nabors. Instagram, somebody had Demetrius Nabors. I don't understand it. So right now I'm Demetrius Krayon. I don't understand. Yeah, so just wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how you can get in touch with me.
Great.
And right now, and the music should, I think it's available everywhere. So
Yeah, should be available on all music platforms.
Yes.
And you even got hard copies.
Yes, I do have hard copies. I do.
So if people want to purchase a hard copy, give them your information.
So you can cash out me at Colorful Entertainment LLC, or you can PayPal me at crayon04@yahoo.com. I memorized that just for you. Yes.
So we're about to see Demetrius' video.
Yeah, we really
Introduce
are.
your video.
So this is my video, Into the Light, featuring my band members. So I hope you enjoy. Sit back, relax, and let's go into the light.
Welcome back to In the Studio at Intercourt Live. I really enjoyed that interview from Demetrius.
Oh, we had a great time. The guy is just full of wisdom. Demetrius to me has always been mature beyond his years.
Most definitely. And it came out in the interview today, the great advice that he gave to musicians. So again, make sure that you go check out his new project, Perseverance. Check out his video for Into the Light. Greg, I also want to give a shout out, my shirt that says, "What up, though?"
What up, dude?
What up, though? Shout out to Spectacles. They're downtown Detroit in Harmony Park on Grand River. Stop by and check them out. It's a great place to get a lot of Detroit-related clothes, and it's a black-owned business. So again, Spectacles in downtown Detroit. Stop by and check them out. I do want to remind everybody to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching you. I'm Carl B.
And I'm Greg Pearson.
And this is In the Studio Intercourt Live. See you next week.